Okay.
Okay, we are recording and we are streaming. You're all set.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So, yeah, fantastic. So we will work through our technology issues, which is all right. We have 1.5 hours to work through it. I can see Margaret shaking her head. It's all right, Margaret. I had a major issue this afternoon, but it still worked out. But any case, so welcome everyone. My name is Preeti Irani. I'm one of the co-chairs. Ari emailed me saying she's not well, so she's not going to make it. Diana emailed me saying that she's not able to make it either. We'll check back in with her later. So I think what I'll start with just introduce yourself. Let us know if this is your first meeting or your second meeting. This is only a second meeting, so this is my second meeting. Sabrina, do you want to go next? And tell us a little, where, yeah, just a little bit context. And is this your first or second meeting?
This is my second meeting.
Okay. Margaret? I'm going across my screen here. Okay, Rita, we'll come back to Margaret. Rita?
Oh, hello everyone. This is my first meeting.
Excellent. And Margaret, is this your first? Can you talk with us? Sound. Okay, this is Margaret's second meeting. I'll come back to her. We'll have to figure out your sound, Margaret. John, could you tell us, just introduce yourself and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Happy to be here. Excited to be here. This is my second meeting. And I'm on the Niskuna Task Force on Racial Equity with Preeti.
Thank you.
I'm excited to be part of this group. Thank you.
Thank you. Jody?
Oh, hi. Sorry. This is my second time. Still having troubles with the technology, but I'm here.
All right. Sabrina is telling Margaret to call in with the phone. Is that what you're saying, Sabrina? Margaret, try that. Call in with the phone using the numbers. No. Elizabeth? Liz? Could you just introduce yourself?
Hi, good evening all. Sorry for my computer noise, but this is my second meeting. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Marina?
Just 1 second, please. Yeah, hi, everybody. My name is Marina Franchild, and I belong to Vocal New York, and I'm an activist working for racial equity.
Great, thank you. And Nasim?
Hi everyone, this is Nasim. I was in the last meeting, but at the end of it, I had a work meeting that ran much later than what I expected. So, kind of first meeting. Thank you for the work group, and I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you, Nasim. Margaret, are you able to unmute and talk to us?
Can you hear me now?
Fantastic. Yes, we can hear you.
Oh,
what did you do
thank God.
to get it work?
I went out and came back in on another thing. What did you want?
Just your name, and this is your first or second meeting.
Margaret Brennan, and this is my second meeting.
All right. We'll get to know each other more.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So, but thank you all, and thank you, Jody, for following up because you were not in the email. Lisa, do you want to introduce yourself if you're still on?
Sure. I am Lisa Stevens. It's my second meeting, and I work for the town. So I'm here in a helpful capacity so that we can accomplish what she needs. So if anybody is having trouble with the Jamboard and they want to make comments in there, but they can't, I will be making them from the comment section and putting them in for you. But hopefully everyone will be working great and we won't need to.
Liz is probably the one who'll need help, Lisa, because Liz
I can do that.
Doesn't have a Gmail account.
Definitely. I'll be prepared for that.
All right. So I'll go through a little bit and then we'll go to the Jamboard. I'll hop back in again on the presentation. This last presentation and this presentation I'm trying to develop a map, working with you, all of us, to develop a map of shared understanding. What do we mean by racial equity and justice, and what we can do about it? And we'll use this map as a guiding to guide us with our data and best practices. So this is a pre-work before we start the data and best practices work. So I am going to go a little, and then we'll go to the Jamboard and come back here. So let me see a slideshow. All right, so if I do, so we'll do the icebreaker. Uh, so maybe that's what we'll do. And then the ground rules, or maybe what I'll do is I'll just wait for, in case other people want to join in, and go through the ground rules and come back to the icebreaker. So there are two quotes that really kind of capture what we're trying to do today. One is on interdependencies by Martin Luther King. He says, "Did you ever stop to think you can't leave for your job in the morning without being dependent upon most of the world? Before you finish eating breakfast in the morning, you've depended on more than half the world. This is the way our universe is structured. It is its interrelated quality. We aren't going to have peace on earth until we recognize this basic fact of the interrelated structure of all reality." He said this in 1967. And on a similar vein is Robin Wall Kimmerer. She's a professor at SUNY in Syracuse. And she says, "One thing I've learned in the woods is that there is no such thing as random. Everything is steeped in meaning, colored by relationship, one thing with another." And if you read Braiding Sweetgrass, it's a beautiful book. So again, to talk about our values and ground rules: trust, to view each other with good intentions. Sometimes if we say something that gets you upset, just know that we come from different experiences and we mean well. Connection, maintain an open dialogue. If you hear or see a mistake, call it out on a way that strives to help others grow without attacking who they are. Respect, listen, speak up, step back as needed. Be aware of the space you're taking up, and be intentionally inclusive. Reach out to community members whose voices are traditionally not heard. And then, based on what Sabrina said last time, when using the Jamboard, we'll be writing a lot, but we'll read everything what is written, so it's more accessible. It works for everybody. Co-creation. That we are engaged in an intentional relationship in order to understand data and best practices. But also another part of co-creation is what I call radical transparency. We actually plan our agenda at this meeting. Everything is done in the open, and we are working together. What we are working on today is actually the first time I'm actually doing it in a group. It's something that I picked up last year. And so I hope we can learn together. It's not something I'm an expert at. And connections and relationships, look at the big picture and how the different parts are interconnected. So if you want to add more, just let me know and then we can continue. All right. The charge, I discussed the charge last time. And the highlighted part: establish a shared understanding of the term equity and related terminology. That's what we've been working on in the last meeting and this meeting. So our jam session where we'll go through developing the map will take a little over half hour, but we'll spend 15 minutes after that looking at the resources. And we'll begin probably talking more about the data and data mostly at the next meeting, and following that, best practices. So this is our May 18th meeting, and we're covering a lot today. This is, in terms of content, this is probably going to be our heaviest meeting. So before that, now let me just get out of here and ask you, let me see if I can get you, if you can all go to the Jamboard.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see, I'm going to put that thing again, the link in the chat again. And a lot of you on the Jamboard, excellent. So tell me, so you know that over here, this is the pen. Are you looking? Let's see, I'll put this. So here, this is the pen. So you can draw with it, mostly erase. You don't like something, Here you can make lines with this arrow kind of thing. Here's the sticky note.
I don't see
Forget
anything.
sticky note. Now, Margaret, your iPad, it's different. It's you come under the three dots and you pull it up. Or you can use this. So example, if I want to bring a sticky note, oh, I can't, you can't see me. Sorry. Let me pull it over here. Can you see me? Can you see can you see my screen now?
Yes.
All right. So basically what I did was I went over here, picked up the sticky note, and I save it. You can change your colors if you want. But right now I'll delete it. So I just want to know, what is your superpower? What do you think is your superpower? If you could just write your superpower, pick up a sticky note and write your superpower.
I give up. Yeah.
Pretty,
Yeah?
can you remind me
How to
what
get
I
the sticky
pushed to
note?
get into Jamboard from? No, and I can't bring up Jamboard.
It's something to do with the apps you told me. Lisa, do you know?
Margaret, did you click on the link on the conversation? Do you see the Jamboard link there? Because you went out and came back in. It might not be visible for you right now.
I sent it in again.
Oh, that's where, yeah.
Can you send it one more time, Pretty? It looks
Yeah.
like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Here it comes.
You got it?
Nope, it says
Oh, yeah.
someone
Nassim, I'll give
try
you
again
access.
later.
Nassim, I'll give you access. Yeah. I should have, but let's see.
And Elizabeth, if you want to type into the conversation, into the convo part, I will type it in for you. Okay.
It says here. Oh.
I can't handle this.
Keeps telling me something went wrong, try again later.
Margaret, did
can't
you join
find-
the meeting with Google or did you join it with your other email?
Yeah, I'm thinking I did.
Can't do it.
Okay, let me.
Let's see how. Oh, this is awesome.
Dustin has joined us. I missed
there you
that.
go.
Marina, do you see the like on Pretty's screen, you can see the tools on the left-hand side. Do you see that on your screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
but I don't know which is the sticky note.
It's
Okay,
this.
it's the fourth one down. It looks
Okay.
like a little box.
Yeah, it's very tiny. It's almost impossible to see.
It is
Okay,
very
so then
small.
what do I do, please?
You click on that and it will
Right
open,
click, right click or left click? Does it matter?
Right click.
right
And
click,
there you go. And this I delete. All right.
and it pops
No, right
open.
click does not work.
Are you on?
So sticky note just came up and then I can't get it to stay there to write on it. So it's very frustrating.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yes, last time it didn't have. Okay, so click on it. If you click on it and you
Yes,
take
now what do I do?
and then take off your finger, it doesn't stick there.
What do I do now, please?
When you click on it, what happens?
It's just there. What do I do,
Okay,
please?
now write something. Just say hello on it.
Write hello?
Yeah, write hello. Write anything or write your
Well, I'm
superpower.
trying to find the pen. You don't understand. It's
No,
very
then you use your keyboard to write on it.
Oh, I see. No wonder why it's not working.
I know.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Nope, nothing.
Okay, so let's see what I do. So over here, I've
Yes.
gone to fourth down. I clicked on it. It came up. I
Yes.
say, Marina, how are you? And the save button now shows.
Right.
And I do save. And
Right. I
there.
understand. So I'm going to try that.
Okay.
And okay, I'm clicking on it
Mm-hmm.
and
And write something.
nothing is coming up. So I don't know what to say. I don't know why it's working for everybody and not for me, but it's not working at all.
Let's try it once more. You
Sure.
click on it.
I'm clicking with the left click. The right click does not do anything at all.
If I click it with the left, if I click it with the left, it doesn't work.
I'll try it again with the right.
Yeah, and it shows up.
But I'm not seeing anything right now.
You don't see this thing sticky note coming up?
I'm not seeing the screen. The screen just disappeared.
Okay, never mind. For now, Marina.
Yes.
You're on your Gmail account, right?
Yes, I am.
Pretty?
Yeah.
Dustin? I suspect Marina was clicking on your shared screen.
Oh.
She mentioned it disappeared when you closed your shared screen.
Oh, Dustin, thank you. Marina, you're not looking. I'm only showing you my screen. You have to open up a new tab with the Jamboard. Thank you, Dustin.
Oh, that's the problem. I don't know how to do that, please.
Okay. Do you know how to present your screen?
I don't know how to do anything. I'm used to Zoom. I'm not used to this format. So, but I don't want to take up group time. I really don't.
I'm trying to think what to do.
Marina, are you able to open the conversation on the right-hand side of the screen so you can see what people are typing in?
The conversation, you mean the chat? Is that what you're asking about? Yeah.
Okay, so on there, do you see any, Pretty shared it a couple times, there's a link embedded in
Oh, okay, duh.
If you click on that, it will open a new
well,
window.
it's saying Google Drive, you need access denied. So maybe someone could give me a call, like not during this meeting, and we'll figure it out. Would that be acceptable?
I would be happy to help you, Marina. Margaret and I, well, we think we got
wonderful.
There, I can help you.
Great.
Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you. In the meantime, I'll just type in the chat. Okay.
Okay, and then just email me and we'll connect. Okay.
Yes, I'll be glad to. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can you be kind enough to just send me your email? I'll put it in the chat, please.
Yes, I actually have your email.
Okay.
I set up the thing, so I'll send you an email. Okay. Thanks.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yep.
I really appreciate your patience.
Anytime. This is frustrating, and I totally get it.
No, but at least I now know why I'm trying to do it on Pretty's page. No wonder why. Okay.
Pretty, can you send me another invitation to the Jamboard? Or she left. Can you do that, Lisa?
Just scroll up in the chat and you can still get it.
I went out and came back in, so it's not there.
It's there since you've been in.
No, but I left and came back. It's not there.
Yeah, a lot of times it wipes out. A lot of times you do not have access to the chat before you enter the meeting. You're right.
I just added it again. See if that works.
Okay, great.
You see it?
Hold on. There we go.
Did we lose
Still
Pretty?
says something wrong. Try again later. How annoying.
Sorry, everyone. Oh my God.
You know, I'm putting things in the chat and they're disappearing.
Let's see, Liz PC. Cancel.
Lisa, what was that thing that I had to click on to something about broadcasting? That helped get in there? Activities, maybe?
Sorry, my mic was off. I don't remember broadcasting. Marina, I'm copying your comments and I just put them onto it. Can you see it on the Jamboard? Or you're not able to see the Jamboard at all.
No,
so
I'm
unless
not.
Pretty shares it, you won't be able to see it. But I have taken both your comments and dropped
Okay,
them in there.
thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Margaret, we had a couple problems. I can't remember. There was a couple different issues we had that we solved, but.
Right, and there was something came up in the middle and it had broadcast and it had a circle and then there was something in the middle and then the bottom you clicked on and then you could see the Jamboard.
Oh, I think that was sharing. That was when I would share with you, but I don't own the Jamboard, so I can't actually share it. Well, let me see.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this one's owned by Pretty, but I was able to just copy the link in the comment section. You're sharing, Margaret. I'm not sure if you see that. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
Stop.
There.
Okay. So, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
fantastic. Because this computer, I'm using my son's, but it doesn't have Office on it. So I'm hoping the features will work, but I'll try my best. If it doesn't, what I'll do is go to Google Drive and use the PDF. And I'm sorry, that computer gave me the same problem in the morning, but it was with Zoom. And I thought with Google Meet, it's never crashed, but it did. I just need a new computer. Sorry about that. So I'm going to share the Google. I'm sorry, Marina, you're having problems, I know, with the Jamboard.
Thank you.
So don't worry about it. Don't get too stressed out.
Okay.
We'll work around it.
Thank you.
And let me get the Jamboard up so I can see what everybody's written. All right. So here, let's do a quick read over here. John, you say you're retired, have time to give back. Maybe somebody else read this. Anybody else? Who wrote resiliency? Go on. Who wrote that one? Each one read yours. Can you see it?
I read the resiliency.
We cannot see anything.
This
you can't see? I'll put it again. Let's see. One second.
We see your slide deck. We don't see Jamboard.
Okay. I may have done. Let's see. Entire screen. I'll try again. Yep. You should be able to see now.
Yes.
Okay. Nasim, what did you write?
Yes, Nasim. I wrote the resiliency. I've been a human rights activist, advocate for my entire life.
Excellent. Who wrote the next one? Research. Who wrote the next one? I love to research.
Oh, I love to research. That was me.
Okay, read that, please.
I love to research anything to do with environmental justice.
Excellent. Thank you. And then if I go to the right of that, EP, who wrote that one?
Elizabeth Paul.
My superpower is an open arm to help others in need.
Thank you. And Sabrina, what did you write?
Sorry, I enlarged my screen and I couldn't get to the mute button. I know ASL and make great cakes.
Great. And that's me. The next one is I'm fascinated by mental models, community, and individual. Dustin, you're next.
I am an efficient software engineer and I have time to spare.
Oh, Dustin. We'll remember that one. And the next one, twice. MF, Marina.
I can't see it. It's too tiny.
Okay. I'll read it. My superpower is my ability to think about elements that are impacted by others, the cascading effect of change, the pros and cons of an improvement. Excellent skills, Marina. Okay, John, you want to read yours? You got it second time. I shouldn't have read yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm retired and I have time to give back.
Thank you. And the orange one, I'm pretty good at. Who's that?
Oh, that's Jody. Yep, I'm pretty good at note taking. So I'm a recruiter, so I take lots of notes.
Excellent. Okay. All right. We've gone through them. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to move this around. And now this is my next challenge, hoping this will work. Okay. Let's see. It's putting me over here. Let's try again. Slideshow from beginning. You're seeing the presenter mode, right? Stop sharing. Okay. Slideshow from beginning. And trying to figure out how to get the right screen to show up. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So present now. Let's do a window. Okay, let me try this. Share. Okay, can you see the presentation now?
Yes, we can see it. I can see
It's
it.
not, yeah, but you can,
Agenda.
it's not.
You're on
Yeah,
agenda.
I'm going to make this really small because when I try to make it like a presentation mode, it goes to the other screen. So can you, but if you can all see it, I'm okay. So we did the ground rules. There's a shared drive and I'll go back to it towards the end. But what I talked about is taking up from the last meeting. So I'm just going to play this clip and let me see if it'll come up on the right one. All right. Did y'all hear that?
No,
Y'all didn't hear anything?
no.
No.
Oh God. See, I'm working with the computer. Let's see. Okay, let's see. View. Slideshow from current slide. Okay, let's see. One second. I want to start it again. Just okay, one second. You didn't hear that. Okay. I think I'm not sure. I know how to do it with YouTube. How do I get the sound? Zoom to place. Okay, never mind. What that clip was, you can see it when I put it in the Google Drive. Marina was two questions Marina brought last time. One was by Marina, one was by Liz. Marina said, you don't understand where this comes from. How are we going to work with these issues when she's worked with the issues with the past and we're trying to make these connections? Some people say it's capitalism. Some people say it's patriarchy. These are very big issues. What can we do at the local level? That was Marina's question, which was an excellent question. It's very overwhelming. And Liz's was, how do you feel when somebody says, go to your own country? How do you feel about that? Can we talk about it? So those are the two questions I hope to get to today. And I'm so sorry that didn't work because I got my son to make that clip, but I can't get you to hear it. I can hear it. But when you go to the shared drive, you'll hear it. All right. So any case, so I am going to go to where I was here. Quick review of our what we did last time. Mostly last time we talked about roles and I talked about how racial equity and justice is a complex issue. So just going through that, it has many interacting parts and that doesn't mean it's a lot of simple parts to put together. When there are many interacting parts, it becomes a completely different system. with its own properties and terminology. So complex systems are not linear. You have to watch what is happening because you cannot predict it very accurately. You have to adapt to it, and you have to be responsive to feedback loops. And the whole system is sometimes bigger than little parts of it. So we'll see what that means as we go forward. And we talk, and my first few quotes were always about relation to relationships among humans, living organisms, and economy. So that was just a review of the last time. Now this part is tricky because I do want you to hear it. So let me see if I can get this to work, okay? Uh, let's see. Oops. You cannot see me. Can you see my screen?
Nothing's happening.
Okay, fine. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, again, unshare. Why is it? It's part of it maybe because I'm working with a different computer. Oh, you're presenting. So stop presenting, and I'm going to present again your entire screen. And I'm going to do this, share. And I think I have to do something here. Share sound, data. Let me know if you can hear the sound. You heard the sound?
No.
No, let me just. Hang on a minute, I'm getting technical assistance. The sound is not going to work.
Pretty, I have it on my phone. If you want me to share, I can just put my phone in the meeting.
Yeah, how do you do it? Lisa, I'm just getting my son to help me with the
Okay.
sound.
Yeah, if
Just
you
a
want
minute.
me to, I can just share it on my phone through my camera. So just let me know.
Okay, now stop and let. Can you hear that?
No.
No.
No. I'm wondering if we might do better with Zoom and just sharing.
No, that's okay. We can just give us a minute. We'll work through this.
Okay.
Default. It has to go through them.
The other idea, Priti, you may be able to copy and paste the YouTube link into the chat, and then we can all click on it and listen to it.
Yeah, but that's no. It's something to do with share sound, and I'm trying to think. Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I'll come back to it.
Can we let whoever had it on their phone just take it?
No, that's okay. We'll come back to it. I'll skip it. Cyrus, I'll skip it. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, he thinks he can figure it out. Yeah. see. There's my presentation. Yeah. This is the link.
Hello, Doctor. Good to see you again, son. Hello, Doctor.
Can you hear it now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me go. Sorry.
Thank you.
Lock? What? Okay. All right. You got that? Can you hear me? So when we built the shared understanding map, our shared understanding, that's what we're looking for. Is 1 second, Cyrus. Can you come here? I'm asking my son for technical assistance one more time. Is trying to get to the right question. I want to get to the presentation again. So if I go to the presentation, how do I get to this now? If I do present now? Window? A window or tab? And 1 second, 1 second. So if I do a slideshow from current slide, it goes here. Yeah. Can you see it, the slide? Thank you. Sorry for these technical difficulties. But yeah, so here, so I think I had the hardest time getting people to conceptualize what it is I'm trying to do.
The
And
slide
mostly
is very small. You really can't see it that well. It's very tiny.
it's full screen, right?
The
It is?
right.
Let's see, you're presenting, stop presenting, entire screen, do screen 2. How about now?
1 second.
Yeah, that's good.
That's better. Okay.
That is better. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, this is a new computer in addition to a new process, but okay. So here I'm trying to really give you an idea of where we are going with this. What is the overall process? So very quickly. So this is a local story. Okay, so this is a map I made of a neighborhood where they wanted the town build a traffic island. So you see in the middle one, the traffic island. And so the neighbors looked at it and said, let's make a butterfly garden so we can have a welcoming neighborhood. So if that butterfly garden thrives, it does make a welcoming neighborhood. Neighbors are engaged and you get a butterfly garden. You see the loop there? That's a loop. That's called a reinforcing loop. However, if the butterfly garden is neglected or overwhelming, it goes back to being a traffic island, which is a bit of sand in the center of the road with some trees. And so the negative part is that it decreases neighborhood engagement because it looks like nobody cares about that place, right? And it turns back to a traffic island. But again, if you have a nurturing an ecosystem, you get a great butterfly garden. The traffic island not only is a traffic island, it's a great butterfly garden. So things can work for it or it can work against it. And that's what it is. Now, in the case of this particular neighborhood, the neighbors were engaged. They were inspired so much by the neighborhood garden, butterfly garden. They took some of their milkweeds to Blatnick Park. And you can see over here them at the Blatnick Park, looking at the milkweeds. And now Blatnick Park has milkweeds and a thriving milkweed monarch population out there. And that's because it had a very nurturing environment. Also with engaged neighbors, they got other interests and they got interested in bee pollination. So you see it here at Schenectady Urban Farm at Vale Cemetery. There's now a beehive with hives, but with hives you need to get some training. It's a little more complicated than a butterfly garden. So you need to be trained to have thriving hives. If you don't have training and inexperience, you could lose the hives. And the hives could in turn potentially, there's potential to get financial kind of benefits. You have bees, hives, beeswax. So you can have positive and negative actions. So if you look at, let's see. So what does this mean? Why am I telling the story of a neighborhood and bees and butterflies when you're talking about racial equity and justice? It's the OECD, which is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. It's like an international organization of 37 mostly developed countries who believe in democracy. They looked at all what we call basic determinants of health. We need income, we need housing. These are all very important. And they distilled into 4 dimensions: natural, economic, human, social. Capital is the same as assets. And so when you look at wealth, you don't only look at money, you look at your different assets, which are in these 4 categories. So again, if I go to the butterfly garden story, I've circled the blue part. Neighborhood engagement is kind of a social asset. Your green part here is your natural ecosystem asset. Your training is kind of a human asset. You're kind of training human beings to be an asset. And your orange one here, which we have still to explore, is a financial asset. So when we look at these maps, we'll be looking to develop these loops and look at wealth not only in terms of money, but in terms of human, social, economic, and natural assets. That's really the point of this whole story. So then, what's the big deal, right, Marina? I mean, there's capitalism, there's patriarchy. How would we'll deal with it? So this is what we call being a system. So this is one of a very common metaphor, the iceberg, that what you see above the surface is probably 1/4 of what's below the surface. And it's used very much by systems thinkers. And here I've put actually 5 layers. The 4 layers you can see. You have events, patterns of behavior, systems, and mental models. So the event is the butterfly garden on the traffic island. The pattern is, you have native pollinator plants growing, neighbors are participating, that the town is supporting, and labor and signs are donated by the neighbors. The system is the town. We did engage the town because it was public land. They gave permission. You set guidelines about how the garden needs to be cared. And the other part of the system is that it's on public land. It's a commons, so no common ownership. And mental models are people expect to see the plants thriving. There's common ownership. That's a big deal because then everybody has rights to it. It's a safe place for conversation. It's a happy place. And it's a garden to be experienced. We can think of ways to make it more inclusive. So in that whole story, what values come out of it? The neighbors wanted to make an engaging neighborhood, a sense of belonging, a sense of aesthetics, order, relationships, not only with each other and other communities and the environment. So then when you look at all this is what we're going to develop with the racial and justice map we're developing. Data will be looking for a sense of belonging, engagement, pollinator-friendly policies. So we draw a lot from this map. Let me stop this for a minute and see if you had any questions, because I did bring up a lot. And over here, you see this map, this iceberg. What you see on the top is important, but what you see at the bottom is what gives you leverage. Especially your mental models, how you explain the world, is what makes things change. And that is actually much more, can be influenced at the local level rather than from the top down. Top down, yeah. Let me see if anybody has any questions, because I've been talking a lot. I just want to see. These are ideas that take a while. So if you feel like I still can't get my head around it, don't worry about it. Even today, when we do the maps, you won't get it right away. Actually, I'll ask for a subgroup to work with me to make the maps a little easier. But you'll get an idea. but it won't sink in. I've been working on this for about a little over a year, and I'm still learning. But let me see if anybody has any questions at this point.
For us, would we be concentrating on just on the local, the very local, and the things that we actually feel that we have some power to make change in?
Not yet. We'll be drawing the map first. First, that's something we'll decide after we do the map. Where do we want to put the boundaries? Boundaries are artificial. We can change them. But first, we'll get a better understanding of what we all agree on. And that is important before we start putting boundaries. So after we draw the map, that's what we'll look at and say, where do we want to put the boundaries? What will we work on and what will we not work on? Just to make it manageable.
Yep.
So let me go on. I was going to do another exercise, but I'm not. I'm going to give this as homework, but I'll give you a lot of help with the homework, so don't worry about it. But this is, again, another part that for me, I struggled with why people weren't listening. And this is a paper by Donella Meadows. She passed away in, I think, 2001. But she made a ranking of what actually you can leverage to make changes. And so she ranked them from 1 to 12. And usually, say in government, I work for the state, we often work with getting data and posting data and sharing data. And she says that's great, but it's like rearranging tables and chairs. It's not unimportant, it's important, but it's not going to make change. Just posting data on any website is not going to make change. And she feels that, so then if you go, what makes change? So parameter system feedbacks, whether system ecosystem is good or not. Those are very important too. But the biggest lever points are design, how you make the rules of the system. That's why very often you want to influence who's on the Supreme Court or on the courts, because the rules, what policies are instituted, and what people think about the way something works. What is our worldview? How do we explain it? And the 1 and 2 is the mindset, and they are the hardest to change. I just want you to think about it. There's a reference there if you want to read, but we'll come back to it as we start talking about best practices. But for data, what I'm trying to get you to do is become a systems thinker. So look at the big picture, look at it from different perspectives, test assumptions. So it's really being a critical thinker, which you are, but a lot of people don't do systems thinking intentionally. And that's what we'll work on. So now we will start on actually doing our work. Okay, sorry, this technical thing took me a little longer. So I am going to ask you to go to the Jamboard. Oh man. Again. Let's see. If you could go to the Jamboard, and I am going to go there too. Okay, can you see the Jamboard now? Yeah, okay, excellent. So we will skip page 2. Oh, okay, I'll do page 2 just to give you an idea, but I will skip one of the exercises I'm going to do. But this is, again, to talk about the feedback loop. So if you think there's bias in practice and you do training, but if the training you do is not meaningful, and you keep doing the training and you still get more bias in practice, it's not working. But in case if you do meaningful training and it decreases bias in practice, it is working. So we're going to be looking for loops. So the way we look at it is, now this is a blank piece of paper, and Marina, you're having trouble with the Jamboard, right? So you will put your Marina and Liz, put your responses in the chat. But if you can, each of you, at least think of one or two factors that affect racial equity and justice and put it down. Anything. So if I start, say, with what Liz said is people. So if people say leave the country, it's othering, that you don't belong here. That's one issue. What else? Just put it around in a circle if you can, but I'll rearrange then. What are some factors that affect racial equity and justice? One on each card, okay? Don't put too much on one. If you have 3 different suggestions, put them on 3 different stickies. Lisa, I'll write. I'll also help. Fund of knowledge. What does that mean? Okay, let's start here. So we have quite a few here to work with. So let's work with what we have right now and see if we can do. So we say people saying leave the country or othering. And which is, if I were to just group a little bit over here, can somebody, whoever wrote fund of knowledge, can somebody explain what that is, whoever wrote that? A fund of knowledge, Sabrina, meaning what you know based on community you're raised in. Things. Sabrina, can you speak up?
Sure. That goes to the places in which you were raised, the amount of environmental input you get from those places you were raised, and how they inform what you know and what you're willing to admit to knowing.
Okay. All right.
Your overall fund of knowledge.
Okay, I hear you. So it's okay. All right. So we have a good start. Lack of knowledge. All right. So let's see. Do any of these things connect with each other, and how do they connect?
Fund of knowledge and lack of knowledge definitely connect, in the sense that you know what you know, or you don't know what you don't know.
Okay. So they feed into each other.
It's a definite loop, I think.
Yeah. So over here, so I'm just going to put this. I'm just going to put it one way. Okay. It doesn't matter. It could go this way or this way. What else connects with each of these? People's willingness to listen and truly understand the other person.
I actually think that goes along with knowledge-based schemas, in my opinion, but other people can have other opinions. I mean,
okay, so and does it, so if the fund of knowledge,
it's that basket in which you say, I have knowledge about something or I don't. It's what you can derive information from, or you can't because you don't have anything in your fund of knowledge.
Okay, so let's do this one thing. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out. So what I'm going to do is convert these to one word. So say knowledge about what? About races, about other race ethnicities? When you say lack of knowledge?
Yes,
I
Preeti.
Yeah.
Other culture, also, they had to learn about other cultures.
And the only reason I'm putting this is because the way we put the statement can be one way or the other, and I'm trying to make a map. So if you can put it in a positive, then the arrows go in a particular way. So then we're all talking about the same thing. Otherwise, depends. We could take it either way. So knowledge about uh, increases. No, so then we're talking about this in a positive manner. That the fund of knowledge could be people who live in communities where you know about other races and communities will know about other races and communities. And that in turn will influence how people listen, right? Maybe? And feel free because there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just putting it over here. So then I'll put it over here. So Sabrina, you were going to say something and you got interrupted. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to go off of, I think fund of knowledge actually also goes to actual academic knowledge as well, not just I made a different comment about understanding multicultural systems in a much more intimate form. And I think that's more of what Elizabeth was talking about, in the sense of knowing, of learning more, of having that more intimate cultural experience. I think fund of knowledge actually goes to education level as well as environmental understandings. For me, it's different. And it doesn't have to be parsed out to that level of difference, but for me, it creates a different understanding of what fund of knowledge would mean compared to learning more about other cultures. That's one aspect of learning more about racial equity.
Okay. So this is the one I'm just going to put this because I need space. So you put access to multicultural experiences in intimate settings over here. So if you have knowledge about, would this increase your knowledge about ethnicity, you think, if you had access to this? Yeah.
For me,
okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll clarify this. Like I said, there will be a second group that'll work a little more to refine it, make it much, because we'll be using this in a report that we send out. And right now it's wordy, which is all right because this takes time. But it's good because we need to understand where we're coming from. So here I'm going to put positive. So then we come to people's willingness to understand incarceration. People, I'm going to put similar things. People saying leave the country. Whoops, I'm sorry. So then I'm going to bring this over here. So if people are willing to listen and they understand, then this would negatively, people are less likely to say, leave the country or other people. If they listen, if they know other people, so it's a minus. So that'll decrease. All right. So education is a key to address. So education, it seems like it's still over here, right? So education is connected to which of these? I'm just trying to see if all of these are connected or are they separate standalones. Education would be.
I think that goes to fund of knowledge, personally.
Okay, let's put it over here. So fund of knowledge, and it helps. That's what you're saying. Okay. What about prejudice, not thinking logically? It may decrease that. Well, this may decrease that too. So irritating and hurting, learning to respect others.
Pretty.
Yeah.
One thing I was looking at, and I think Sabrina was trying to get there also. There's also if you move respect over to the fund of knowledge, because one of the things is that we have an issue with is the respect between now the knowledge that's acquired. Because if you really don't have that parity with you don't really have knowledge of another culture. Okay, when you see them, even though they would have the same knowledge and have access to the same knowledge, you wouldn't suspect that.
Right.
And
So,
I'm sorry to keep it too long, but there was the CEO for Xerox. She's a Black woman, and she was talking about that today, about the equity. That's why I put equity in hiring, because that also affects the hiring.
so tell me, what did you say about respect? You think it
Right.
would be,
Well,
what would it influence? I
I would
missed that.
respect the equity in hiring, because
Mhm.
you would be able to see, different cultures with the same degrees, let's say, you see, as being equal, and being able to be, I mean, respect for both of them. You
Yeah,
see, you see what I'm saying? You would rate them the same.
right.
Right.
So I'm trying to, so if you have respect, you would have equity in hiring. Is that what you're saying, Rita?
Yes. If you have respect for both cultures, but that comes with the knowledge and the education.
Okay. I'm going to, knowledge, would knowledge give you respect or respect give you knowledge? Which one?
Well, I think the respect would give you with the knowledge of that culture, because you were talking about having knowledge of other cultures.
Right.
And I think that would give you more respect for that culture. If you had more knowledge, you understand that, yes, that person, they did work for that degree. I mean, I'm just this like a really good story that about was written by Barbara King Silver, The Poisonwood Bible. And she was and the preacher, he went to the Congo to bring knowledge to the people in the Congo. But when he got there and tried to grow food, he would not listen to them, because they had that knowledge. You see, so he had no respect for the knowledge that was already there for where he was. And what ended up happening, he ended up losing his crops, you
Hmm.
see, because he would not listen. And it came from that lack of respect for the culture.
So what gives you respect?
Well, you have more knowledge of that culture. I figure the more knowledge that you have of that culture, and the more knowledge also that you have of the history, because the history also has an active part of how you understand a culture.
Yeah. I'm just going to put history of culture.
Yes.
Okay. That's a new one. So, guys, I know I'm the only one writing, but I just kind of wanted to give you a sense. We want to see what the connections are between all the ones. So, Dustin or anybody who feels comfortable, feel free. So, you're saying respect. So, history will give you understanding the history of the culture.
The knowledge, and then the knowledge will give you that respect for that culture. It might not give you an overall, but it'll raise the respect level for that culture, which will also impact equity in hiring, also socioeconomics and such.
Okay. So, I'm going to put the arrow the other way. All right. So history will give you knowledge about the culture, which will give respect, which will give you equity in hiring, which in turn, whoops,
Housing, yes.
yeah. So, so if I can bring this up here, it looks a bit messy, but like I said, this takes a little time to get unmessy, which is okay. So, which will bring here. All right. And socioeconomic factors, which may actually, so over here is a plus. It'll affect your socioeconomic factors, which is plus. Housing discrimination, Dustin, and you have incarceration. Are they connected to any of these? So if you had housing, you may and pay, and it may decrease incarceration because people have some sense of security. If you have this, it may decrease incarceration.
But if you've been incarcerated, it's the negative to all of that.
Right.
If you've been
That's kind of what I was
incarcerated,
thinking of, the
yeah,
impact of incarceration on other things. Thank you.
if you've been incarcerated, it would be negative here. If you've been incarcerated, it's tough to find
And
a
equity
job.
in hiring. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And housing discrimination.
And it's a
Uh,
negative to equity in hiring. And
equity
I
in hiring.
also think it's a negative to education.
Where's the this one here?
Absolutely. Way up in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that feeds into the prejudice conspiracy theories on the
So
other side
now-
of it. That goes up.
Yeah, like I said, we can't have two arrows going negative and positive, because so then that means as this is not written too well. So so education will, okay. So what you just said, Sabrina, incarceration will have a negative impact on education, but education would have a negative impact on prejudice, or did you say positive?
No, I think incarceration then it increases prejudice conspiracy theories and all of that.
Okay. All right. So let me do this. Yeah, this is wild, but okay.
Yeah, but excuse me, before you make that leap, all right, incarceration, a lot of it also is caused by prejudice and inequity in the justice system. So you have to also understand that a lot of the incarceration, okay, is inequities in the justice system. So you can't just say that it just impacts, it's incarceration. For you to become incarcerated, there is an inequity there. All right, your socioeconomic, status is actually one of your factors.
Oh yeah.
Unable to be able to afford an attorney.
I'm going to put that as a separate one, okay? Inequities in justice system, and
I would agree. I meant that I wanted to clarify where I was saying it increases the prejudice. I think that's part of that negative feedback loop, that the more incarceration there is, it impacts other people's prejudice in the sense it increases their sense of, look, you were incarcerated, you did something wrong. And that's where that negative feedback loop happens, at least the way I see it in my head. But I totally agree that all of those other factors that incarceration hits, it hits all of the equity in hiring, socioeconomic factors, housing, education. I mean, to get a GED, to go to college, yeah, it's all impacted.
Okay, we have this housing discrimination hanging in there. Does it connect to anything here so far?
Incarceration.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Okay, negative. And how can we decrease? Okay, this increases housing discrimination.
I think housing discrimination can be connected to socioeconomic factors.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it affects your education, because based on housing where you live, really depends which school you go, what kind of education you get.
And also redlining. Don't forget redlining.
Okay.
So housing is definitely connected to education, at least in America.
Oh, God. 1 second. Let me just put redlining there, okay?
Yeah, race. When it comes to race, it's redlining.
Yeah. So, oh God. It's a bit of a mess, but that's okay. All right. I kind of will remember, and I'm glad it's being taped so we can follow up. So redlining, even though it's taken off, the effects of redlining stays, right?
Mm-hmm.
People say, and then irritating, I'm coming back to ableism, irritating and hurting. So this one is part of respect, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Over here, I'm just going to bring it, over here.
I think redlining also goes to socioeconomic.
Okay. All right. So one thing.
If you can't get a job.
Yeah.
because the jobs are in another part of town and you're stuck out in no man's land because that's the only place where you can buy a house. And
Well,
I
you
just,
can't even get a loan.
and in terms of
Depending on-
redlining, it's almost like today in the big cities where they're doing the rehabbing all the houses and the prices are going up so that the lower socioeconomic people are being pushed further away.
Is
and
that
have no
happening
place.
here in the gentrification you're talking about, right?
Yeah, gentrification.
Yeah, but redlining was intentional.
Yeah.
Right. It was actually quasi legal because you had these contracts where you could not, you know, sell your house or buy a home to Black people. As a matter of fact, in Schenectady, during the time when GE brought up people from the South during the migration, you could not buy a home. And at one point, when you could buy a home, a white person had to actually go and buy the home for you.
Mhm.
And that was right here in Schenectady.
You can see the maps of redlining on
Yeah.
different websites. It's shocking. Well, it's not,
Well,
but it is.
let me ask ableism. How does that connect to anything here?
The ability to do these things, as opposed to if you are a person of color and you're in a wheelchair, you're a person of color and you're blind, you're a person of color and you're deaf. That hasn't even, if you're a person of color and you're deaf and you're incarcerated, all of those, they compound one another, and it's an even bigger iceberg of how it affects and impacts
all of
it.
It also has this concept that if you're a male cisgender white person, you have the privilege of almost everything, and you might be immigrants and you're very able, but you just, there's this conception that the ableism is that category of group, and it affects your ability to get a job, ability to get hired, like get promoted in your job, better pay, the type of house you're gonna buy, and a lot of property and things like that. So assets and things like that. So it affects your where you go to school, where you get like education. I think ableism is very important.
Very good. All right. So I'm going to stop here only because, not because this is done. This is a start. What I will ask is this it's hard to do this in one sitting, and we'll be revisiting this every time we look at data. Something falls out of this, we'll be revisiting it. But over here, and I don't know, what did I do? Do you all have this Google board on your screens? Because I'll bring up something else on here then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, because I can see the Google board. Let's see. So present now, window. I think it's this one. Okay. So I was going to do this, but I'm going to leave it, but I'm going to do it for this particular event. Maybe because it's towards the end of the meeting and I want you to go through resources, what I will do is I'll ask if a small group can meet with me maybe a Thursday, because I talked with Lisa. And this will be helpful to do in person because we can do physically, and not everybody has to come for this. To really clean up what we just did a little more, I want the categories to be more positive, so our arrows are a little more defined. And at the next meeting, what we'll do, forget the stop, which says Newark Police Reform Story. That's your homework. I'm going to give that to you. But we'll try and look at the iceberg model based on what we drew. What do we see? For example, say if you just do housing, redlining hard to find houses, what patterns of behaviors are there? And we may not know all the systems, what is helping, what is not helping in mental models. But before I do that, let me simplify the map with a few of you. Okay, so it's a little more clear. I'll make notes at the side and we'll work on this at the next meeting. All right, coming up with based on what you developed today. And if there's something else missing, we'll add to it. Is that okay?
The people to clarify that map, you wanted to do it this Thursday?
No, any with next in 2 weeks, I would say. The only
Okay.
reason I said Thursday is because Lisa said that's when the meeting rooms are more open.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be everybody, but if even if I can get 2 or 3 of you to just come by the town hall, yeah, you're available. Just for
next Thursday I can. Yeah.
you can. Anybody else can come?
Which
Dustin,
Thursday?
what date is that?
The
Are you
27th.
looking or the 3rd? Because there's a fundraiser barbecue for Niski now on the 27th.
Lisa, is Lisa on?
Yes, I was just muted.
Okay, 27th is something happening at the town hall?
I'm checking.
A
Right
barbecue?
now.
Well, that's
Nope.
just a drive-through.
No. Yeah, that's at Rosendale.
Oh no, then let's just do it on the 27th at the town hall. We'll be meeting at the town hall. Or we could do that. I'm open also for the 3rd if that works better for people. But just even 2 or 3. Rita, are you available?
I would love
I can
to
do the 3rd. I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
On the 3rd.
3rd is fine?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's do the 3rd. Whoever can come. I know at least Sabrina said she can come, and anybody else, just send me an email. Dustin, is 3rd okay for you? We'll meet at the town hall. If it's nice, we'll meet at the gazebo. If it's not nice, I think the boardroom, Lisa.
Okay. And what time was that?
6 o'clock. 6 to 7:15, I would say. I'll get some flip chart paper and we'll simplify this map. We may add, so keep adding. I see Sabrina wrote zero sum politics. Great, keep adding. And all right. So in other words, this is how we're going to do. So I was hoping to get to the mental models, but just this whole brainstorming takes up our brain. So I just need us with a fresh mind next time. And maybe we won't even be able to do it the next time, but we'll discuss. This is where we're going to look at it, try and come up with that iceberg model, what we can see. And really based on that, guided by that, we'll be looking at primary data, but mostly start with secondary data, which is what's already there, census data, data sources, existing planning reports. This is like for the next 3 or 4 months. And we'll use all this to identify baseline data and set targets. So we'll be working with primary qualitative data, primary quantitative data, and secondary data. All right. And our priority issues will at least have 2, if not all 3 of those. But this map will guide us about what we collect, what we care about. We'll get a sense of our values. What is it we care about? And that will guide us with what kind of data we prioritize collecting or gathering. All right. So at the next meeting, I kept it open because I didn't know how far ahead we'd go. It's 7:21. So before I do that, we'll figure out what our agenda for the next meeting is. But I wanted to go and let's see, cancel. Is give you a sense of what's on the shared drive. Now all of you have access to the shared drive. Let's see. Drive.
Okay.
Let's see. Can anybody else present the shared drive to me? What you have access to? I sent it to you all. Do you all have it or no?
I have it.
John, do you have it? I see him nodding. Do you have access to the shared drive? It's the data and best practices shared drive.
Yeah, I clicked on it earlier, but I didn't. I don't still have it open.
Nobody has it. Okay, let me see if I
Wait,
can get
wait, wait. I think I might have it open. So, okay, what are you looking for?
If you could get up the shared drive. Who said that?
There's Rita.
Rita, you have access to the shared drive?
Yes, I'm looking at
Can
it
you
now.
present it? Can you present it to us?
Oh, I have it on my other computer.
I did the
Okay.
same.
So, all right. Okay. All right. Let me see.
On the bottom of the meeting screen, you see the data best practices with attachments. If you click on that, you can get to certain parts of the shared drive. What part are you looking for? It has to be in the meeting invite of what you attach to this meeting. And in there you have role expectations, data and best practice work group meeting, data best practice work group meeting with the
Sabrina,
video.
can you present it to me?
Sure.
Yeah, the reason is I don't remember my password.
Which, do you want roles and expectations? What do you want?
No, I just wanted to show what's on the drive so I can show you all what's in there.
Okay.
I just want that screen to show.
Let me present now. Okay, and then if you go to this.
Okay, so are you presenting right now?
I thought so.
Nope.
No. Sorry, my captions are getting in the way. Chrome wants to share. Hold on, let me try it again.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh,
how's that?
okay.
Yes? Is that sharing?
Not
So
yet. Okay, not yet. No.
No?
Data and best practices drive. You're not in the drive.
Yeah,
no,
I
I'm
see
going.
it.
I'm showing you from where I'm getting it from.
Okay.
I'm not.
So
if you go to that,
okay,
there's
so
the drive.
Okay, go back. Go back. Okay. So you have.
So if you go into that best practices at the bottom of it's on the lower left-hand side. You see the details of the meeting and then whatever attachments you have for that meeting, that's where you can keep a running list of what's in the drive. And we can click on it that way.
So the drive is it's a separate Google thing that has a whole bunch of other files that aren't specifically attached to the meeting.
Right.
So I can share that and show you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dustin. I should keep my passwords in one place. I don't know what my password is.
There we go. Go, Dustin. Woo.
Okay. There we go.
All right.
So if I just go to
data and best practices.
Yeah, you'll see all the other stuff.
That's okay. That's the presentations, not in the presentations file. Yeah, data. Thank you, Dustin.
There we go.
All right. So you have the meeting handouts and notes and presentation. Then you have this Excel file which says plus NISCA Equity Task Force. That has basically papers. So if you have, like Margaret shared an interesting paper she saw, you can share it over here so people can see it. So as we start collecting information or you see articles, if you open that one for a minute, Dustin. So leverage points, I told you that paper by Donella Meadows, and what I liked about it, that it changed the way I look at everything. And then what I was teaching was, what I was explaining to you was systems thinking. And I was looking for where it is used in racial equity and justice work. And the only place I really found it was in John A. Powell's UC Berkeley's Othering and Belonging Institute. They have been using it since 10 years. And he spells his name with all lowercase, so John A. Powell, but they do a lot of good work. So he explains why he uses systems thinking, and I'm just surprised I didn't find it in more places. Then the Newark article is what Margaret shared with us, and what she said. So if you go back for a minute, so this is where you find an article, put a link and share it. And if you can go to the next one, working definitions. Okay, this is the one I want you to think, do we need, these are some of the definitions that I had suggested last time, complex systems, equity, inclusion, racial equity. So for example, racial equity, just and fair inclusion into a society in which all people immaterial of their race or ethnicity can participate, prosper, and reach their full potential. So if you have another better definition, put it there and put in where you think it is. Over here, so here I put in all the references at the bottom where I got these definitions from. So ableism, I've heard that come up. So maybe we need a definition for ableism. So if you go up to the top again, Justin. Yeah, go to the top of the page. Yeah. So if you could put the definitions here, say ableism over there, and say Sabrina SS is going to work on it. Ableism. And in parentheses, put SS. So communities, I think it's important for us to have a definition of community. The other terms I brought up today was primary data, secondary data. So anything you think we need a definition for, just put it there. If you're going to work on it, say you're going to work on it with your initials. And if you're not, just put it down there and somebody will pick it up, whoever wants to work on it. So to think about what definitions, redlining, what does that mean? We could put that out there. So this will serve as our glossary. And if somebody disagrees with it and we get 5 definitions of the same thing, we'll look at them and come up with one definition that works for us. This is how we're going to communicate when words we use are like jargon. So we know we're speaking about the same thing. Or we'll do a kind of a crosswalk. So your homework is actually to think of what definitions we need. If you have articles, put it in that Google Docs. If you send it to me, I'll probably put it in that other file. Okay, so that's basically the resource directory. So for the next week, if I will go back to the presentation now, Justin, I'm going to take this.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. I think I can take it from you. So if I can go back to the presentation. So, okay, just ask, we can talk. For the presentation next week, we'll again present, a small group of us will work on the map we drew. We'll present what we came up with. And we'll talk again, we'll talk a little bit, we'll start building our iceberg, right? And talk about we'll see what loops we find, we discover in our little map, and figure out who and how we're going to collect this information and data. Is that a way to go? That's a start. It's not, like I said, the roles, the shared understanding, the working definitions, and the articles are going to be ongoing. We're going to keep building on it. All right? But that's it. So far, what we've agreed is we will meet on June 3rd at 6, from 6 to 7:15 at the town hall. I'll send out a meeting, and whoever wants to come can come, but I'm expecting at least 2 or 3 people to be there besides me. And you'll put in whatever definitions you think we need to put in for the working glossary, and I'll draft up an agenda for the next meeting and figure out who's going to speak when. So far, thank you for your patience. I've been dominating the discussion, but you'll see me step back a little bit now, and everybody will start participating. All right? I really appreciate it because, like I said, this is the first time I've done this. I was a little scared because it's like very, I don't have it planned, right? So I don't know how it's going to turn out. But that's why, but any case, these maps take a while to do. But we'll get something going when we meet in this small group, a little cleaner version. That's all. I think it's time, 7:32. All right. Well, thank you very
Thanks,
much,
everybody.
everyone. Yeah. Talk to you again.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi.